You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast, hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.
YouTube. We are Oversaturated, the podcast. I'm Ralph.
I'm Johnny.
Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, baby.
Thank you.
You know why you're
here.
Yeah. Man, we're the Loffersons, man. We are, well, I don't know.
The Loffersons. That's hilarious.
I just like the fact that I can pronounce that name. But, you know, if you're here, you see this, aside from any podcast, you know why we're here. We're here to review something. Episode 3.
Yes.
Loki. Lamentis is the episode. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the episodes, we just do a brief recap, and then we're going to get into our review, what we thought about, you know, what we got and all that. But Johnny, what you think about the episode? Not it.
Oh, man. So.
Continuation of last week.
Yeah. A very long sigh. So, episode 2, just half of the episode was just slow to me. The latter half, mm-hmm. You know, it picked up.
Yeah.
This entire episode for me was a bit slow. Now, I'm not saying it was a bad episode. I understand this episode was here to, I guess, help propel us forward. I feel like every episode, there's only 3 episodes left. The latter 3 episodes are about to be explosive, I feel like. Mm-hmm. This episode was like the segue to that, and it was just really, really slow. Even some of the dialogue between Sylvie and Loki was just like, okay. Yeah. So that, there were like 1 or 2 big revelations in the episode, mm-hmm. which was cool, but everything surrounding it was just like,
Yeah.
What you think?
It's very rare where me and Johnny actually come to an agreement on something in the MCU, right? Because we always look at it, you know, as two points of view. But I have to say I agree. This was it was kind of tough, like, to watch, because I guess I thought that we were done with the building of something, mm-hmm. and we had to build something else. So for the lack of action in this episode, not to say it was bad,
right.
It was just not.
Like, it was taking. I feel like it was taking a long time to get to where we needed to get to.
More dialogue. Like, it was more action with the heroes, but when you get to the villain, we got to do all this damn talking.
Yeah, we have to understand them better.
but it's not even the Loki thing that we had to. Okay, we about to get to this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, the opening scene, it looks like a flashback of some sorts. It looks like that's what I think. It looks like a flashback of sorts. Sylvie in her normal voice, which is actually of accent. You know what I'm saying? She's talking to, now what we see is, was it C20? Is that her name?
Is it C or B20?
Which I think it's C20.
Yeah.
C20. Because B15 is our girl from Love.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
so she's talking to C20. It's going to be a while to catch who she was. I'm like, who's this lady?
Yeah.
Who's Lisa Bonet? Who's this Lisa Bonet?
Right, because of the... Yeah. Oh, my God, because of the lots.
Yeah,
she looked nuts.
Like, great value Lisa Bonet. I was like, okay. So, it's taking me a while to kind of catch what's going on. And then it's slow, yet just conversation over dinner. And then it kind of goes like, where do you find the timekeepers? I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
exactly. I was like, oh, that's who she is. So that was kind of like my indication of there. But it's just to show you that Sylvie does have the power of, I guess you say, illusion.
Well, they call it in enchantment.
Even that's enchantment?
That's what they, yeah. So that, I feel like that scene was to show us how her enchantment works, because we saw in episode 2 that she was actually enchanting people. Mm-hmm. So now we see like another level of how deep it actually works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And how she was able to get the information from C20 that we figured out.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. And then it cuts to how she got the information from C20, and then it kind of cuts back into the apocalypse of the hurricane or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty much what's going on.
Right.
Then we get to her pretty much getting ready to attack the TVA, which was, you kind of seen it coming, because usually it's like, I'm gonna draw everybody out to make what I need to do easy.
Exactly.
Because she didn't have to do much. Like, she had to beat up a few Minutemen, but
right, which I thought was pretty cool. So of course her powers, her magic isn't going to work in the TVA. We saw she tried to enchant one of the agent or the Minutemen, and it didn't work. So we got to see her hand-to-hand combat, which actually was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, okay, turn up.
She's nice. And
she almost made it to the golden elevators, which is how you get to the timekeepers. But she stopped by Loki. He has his daggers now. Yeah. They get into their fight, but then we see what's my girl named
Ravona.
We see Ravona come up, and Sylvie was like, "Well, kill him. I don't kill Loki. I don't care." As she was about to do it, Loki transports himself and Sylvie to Lamentis 1. Yeah. And this is where the rest of the episode takes place.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. It was interesting that they teleported to another apocalypse. Like, that was just interesting. That was interesting. Like, of all the ones, and then there was just, random. We're going to go to this one where nobody survives. Obviously, nobody survives out of either. I think those are the ones that she picked. She picked the worst ones to hide.
Yeah, and that's the worst. And that was the worst of the worst. Now, let me ask you: do you think Loki chose that specific place on purpose?
I watched it twice. I will say no. Okay. Give me your theory.
So, and we're getting here anyway. So when they figure out they're on Lamentis 1, they squabble, but then they go and find shelter, right? Mm-hmm. So they find shelter, and we get this part in the scene where we see Sylvie try to enchant Loki. Yeah. And it appears that it doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. I believe, after the second watch, that in Sylvie trying to enchant Loki, somehow, I don't know how, and I could be wrong, somehow Loki reversed it onto Sylvie. So now Loki has somehow enchanted Sylvie, and the rest of the episode is like an enchantment that's happening. So that's why I was asking if you thought, did you think that he sent them there on purpose? Because I feel like these are two Lokis, and they're still trying to figure each other out. And I feel like Loki will have would do something so elaborate to try to understand Sylvie, so he can figure out how to overcome or overthrow her or whatever.
I'll say this, and I'll without trying to jump to the end of the episode right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think so, because I'm thinking about how the end of the episode ends. I mean, the episode ends, but we'll get to that. But just it's a banter between them. They're trying to figure each other out. They're trying to manipulate each other. They're trying to do all these things, because they're trying to fight over the time pad. Is it called the tip pad? Or is it time pad?
We don't call it time pad.
It's a time pad. I think it was something like that. But the time pad, it actually, which we later find out in the episode that it was destroyed, actually. But they have to figure out, and they're trying to work together while figuring each other out and learning each other how to get away from this. Right. Like, get out this apocalypse. And that's pretty much like the episode. Like, I mean, it's just. It's like, I'm trying not to skip so far ahead and talk about the nuts and bolts of it, but it's like that's pretty much.
I mean, that is pretty much it, because what happened, what seems to happen in the episode is they just end up in different parts of Lamentis 1 and have dialogue where they're trying to understand each other. Like on the train, they have this dialogue about what you think love is, and Loki gets into his upbringing.
Yeah, let's get into this. Okay. You said there were two big reveals, and I'm gonna try and guess. Okay. All right. The one was definitely like Loki's sexuality, right? or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was one.
That's one, and then the second is obviously what's going on with TVA.
Yeah. So
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So we find out.
Okay.
So in the episode, we find out all the TVA Minutemen or agents or variants from the past. When Loki was told
that was something else.
Like Loki was told that they were all created by
the TVA or the timekeepers.
The timekeepers, yeah. So either somebody was lying or they don't know, which is messed up.
Now, one thing that I definitely seen elements of in this show is like a lot of Men in Black. You know what I'm saying? Because Men in Black, all their agents were out in the field. They didn't know about aliens or whatever, how the universe started, and none of that other stuff. And then their memory is wiped clean once they're done with the Men in Black. But this is just a reverse of that. Like once you come on, like I can remember what happened, before I became an agent.
Right, yeah.
But it's just the other way around. And
so they wiped all of their all their memory, everything.
Well, you gotta think about even like just going back to our pal that's the receptionist. He didn't know what a fish was.
Right.
Now that seems funny in the moment because you think that he's novice, he doesn't know anything because he's just a TVA, person that works there. Right. But now it seems quote unquote fishy, don't put it that something like that would occur, right?
Exactly. So it's like now that we know that all of the people at the TVA are variants. It's like, where do we go from here? So now all of the memorabilia in what's my girl name? The judge?
Ravona.
Ravona. All the memorabilia in Ravona's office kind of makes sense now because maybe these are things that she's had in her past.
Now let me ask you this. Heck, we might be going sidebar, but it's still in the context. Do you think Ravona is aware of what the TVA does?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think anybody in the TVA is aware, and I think it's going to come out, and that's going to like mess with people's minds, and I feel like that's what the rest of the season is going to be about. It's like finding that stuff out, and in the midst of finding that out, cleaning up the timeline because we still dealing with that. Yeah. We just on Lamentis 1 right now.
Yeah, that's now just getting back to Lamentis 1. Loki and Sylvie, she doesn't like being called Loki, which we figured that out. Yeah. He actually tell her that, you know what I'm saying? And that comes from upbringing. She actually prefers being called by Sylvie. And one thing I mean, even though it's a slow episode and we had our gripes, I do appreciate the acting exchange between her and Loki. I don't appreciate her as a Loki. I do appreciate her as an actress. If you're just talking about how they talk, the dialogue.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we're talking about how she kind of envied Loki in a sense because Loki had his mother taught him magic, where she had to learn it the hard way. She had to get it from the mud. Like it's a level.
She taught herself.
She taught herself. Loki had a loving situation around him, but when you go to a different version of this character, they had to do something completely different. But yet they're still meeting at the same point to be villains.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody was just adopted and they had all the love and care. This person had nothing, but yet you're still here.
Yep. Yeah. So because of your differences.
Yeah.
How do you all still end up at the same point?
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like I caught that more on the second watch than the first one. I was just like, ugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
and so getting back to them being on the train, right? This is another reason why I feel like Loki enchanted Sylvie. So on the train, when they were going to rest the way that they know how to rest, Sylvie wakes up from a nap and Loki is back in his variant jacket, which is still fire, by the way. Yeah. And he, they're singing the song on the train, and he's, another like Thor and all that type of stuff. Yeah. I feel like Loki would never be that careless because he brought too much attention to himself, and he ultimately gets himself literally thrown out of the window on the train.
They both got thrown.
And this is where the time jump device breaks.
Yeah.
I don't think Loki would ever be that careless when it comes to something like that because this is literally their only way off of the planet. If they don't get off the planet, they're gonna die.
Okay. Now I can kind of see how you would think that maybe Loki kind of set this up because he still needs time to figure out who and what she's doing and what she is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's enchantment, but I get maybe it's a plan that maybe Loki's just trying to figure out a plan because he seems so easy going about saying that let's just hijack the rocket, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I can see that, but I don't see, and it's just like we got more to go off of with Loki, the male character, than Sylvie.
Right.
So it's like you have to trust in Loki being more methodical.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now I had to talk myself. I had to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel you on that.
And then, well, I don't know if we gonna wrap up, but
hold on, before we wrap up, because I think there's something else there. They got through. One thing, I mean, small, but I thought it was interesting where they were loading up all this thing and all the poor people had to stay behind those kind of
it's
stuff.
wild, right?
Yeah,
super wild. But I feel like that's what any society would do. To be honest,
yeah, that's Titanic shit. We've seen it before. You know what I'm saying? All the rich, and then quote unquote women and kids, but y'all poor ass stay
right here.
Stay right here.
Crazy.
And then, I mean, them getting thrown from their train. More and more dialogue, and then that's where you get the TVA reveal while they're on their way to
go to the Ark.
Yeah, the Ark.
Because they came up with the plan that they were going to save actually let the Ark get off of the planet. Yeah,
they thought they would actually just save ourselves and alter time.
Because that's the only way they would be able to survive since the thing was broke.
Exactly. And then once they get to, I guess, where the Ark is ready to leave, they just encounter all these Minutemen. Like it's like they just got jumped.
Yeah, they got jumped, and while they were getting jumped, the planet that was falling into the moon actually broke, and now there's even more debris falling toward the moon now. So now it's like shit is in disarray.
Yeah.
And we see this beautiful fight scene where even at some point, they did like a little sweeping kick at the same time and scene, but. Also, in this fight scene, we see a building falling, and Loki uses some type of power to put the building back up. Now, I've been seeing people say he used the time stone. I don't think that's true, because I didn't see like any green aura around him. I think he just used his telekinesis.
Yeah, unlike Loki, he's not a magician. That sounds crazy. He sounds Loki, but Loki's
He has the powers of telekinesis.
Okay.
So he's able to move things with his mind, which we actually saw in the second episode.
We're not gonna say the time stone. We know them things are paperweights.
Right.
Them things is useless. Them things is useless now.
Or if this is an enchantment, it ain't real. So he's able to do shit with his mind. That's just me though.
Now this is where I refute this, right? Because we gonna get into the end of the episode. Then I'm gonna tell you why I think so. Okay. The debris is coming, the asteroid, the meteor, whatever you call it, is coming down. It destroys the Ark. We get this crazy ending, kind of Breaking Bad-esque, with the song that kind of mirrors what we're dealing with right now.
Right.
Crazy. Loki looks nuts. He looks crazy right now. And so it's like, okay, I'm thinking that Mobius knows that Loki is in an apocalypse, so the TVA will come get them before it's destroyed. That's my read on that.
My thing is, how do they know which apocalypse he's in?
I don't even know how they know which apocalypse Sylvie was in. Did they ever really? I think that's a plot hole because they never said, "Oh, the variant will be here." They just said the variant hides in apocalypses.
Yeah.
So how do you?
That's a good point.
Because I don't think that was ever explicitly said. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying in episode 4, at the beginning of episode 4, Mobius is going to come get them out of the apocalypse.
The TVA will come get them. That's how I read that.
Okay, I didn't even think about that.
That's why I couldn't ride with the enchantment thing. Because I'm thinking the TVA gonna come get them. Even though we left at the Ark being destroyed, not Lamentis.
Right.
So that leaves some type of window.
Yeah.
For them to be saved, or be apprehended. You know what I'm saying? Because they might just arrest both of them.
Well, yeah, they definitely getting arrested.
Well, Loki is definitely arrested.
I was thinking I was thinking since all this shit is fake, the time thing really isn't broken. Loki still has it. Maybe that was an illusion. So as soon as the episode,
he could have easily went like, okay, now I can rock with that more so than I think her being enchanted. You know what I'm saying? That's just me thinking.
Got you. So as soon as the episode 4 starts,
we go.
Boom! No, here it is.
Like,
it's charged.
I was just fucking with you.
Right.
Alright, let's go. Or Mobius and then pull up because I think that. But the thing is that would throw. Now my theory would actually kind of throw off the show in my opinion.
Why you say that?
Because. Okay, if they get captured at the beginning of 4, we still got a lot to deal with. Like, how does she even try to get close to the timekeepers? Are we going to see them? I think you got to stretch that out a little bit longer. You got to stretch the work. You know what I'm saying? The information about the variants in the TVA, that's where that comes into play. Because as soon as Mobius gets back as soon as everybody get back together with Mobius, Loki is going to say that shit immediately, and he going to be like, "Hey, what's happening? What y'all got going on here?"
And of course, at first, Mobius isn't going to really know, but somehow Sylvie is going to enchant Mobius to let him see, hey, this was your life before, which is probably where the jet skis and shit come in.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's going to be the rest of the episode. Rest of the season.
Okay. Now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
We'll see.
We clearly got predictions already, but before we get into more predictions, let's just say this. What do you think about just this episode? How do you rate it? Are you gonna rate it?
I mean, we did get some valuable information in this episode. Mm-hmm. It's just so much dialogue that I felt like was kind of meaningless. Maybe it'll show back up, like the whole love is a dagger and all this type of stuff. It don't matter. Do I really want to, like, I feel like Loki is self-centered enough to be with himself. As far as
I don't think they get together. Like, I joked about them, but they're not gonna make this, no anti and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
What would that even look like if they had to keep? Never mind.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's not do it.
I'll say this: like, this was it was difficult to watch, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't necessary to the story. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I can't nitpick in that sense. You know what I'm saying? It was just slow. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the purpose of this episode was to understand Sylvie. Right. And I think we got a better understanding. I don't think we understand. Mm-hmm. And then we got a little bit more of Loki that we never got in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, just the reveal about his sexuality. Like, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now we kind of see who they are and moving forward, maybe what can come of that. But just predictions moving forward, like I said, I think, the TVA come get them out the apocalypse. That's just me.
Man, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel, Marvel, the MCU is always deeper than rap.
And that's why we stick with stuff. Like, we just ride with it. It's like, okay.
Like, fam, I know this has been slow, but
y'all gonna get
like something big gonna happen.
Exactly. Y'all gonna make this pay off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just crazy, man. But WandaVision got 9 and this only gets 6.
Hey, man.
I don't know, man. I was just trying to figure out what happened, man.
I don't know.
I put more money in WandaVision. It's them damn TV.
It's the budget. It's the budget. Like, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision probably didn't cost that much.
Damn TV sets, man. Them I Love Lucy shits, man.
Hey.
A little bit of hate there.
And the episodes were shorter on WandaVision. Like, the actual, like...
And I ain't gonna lie. I hate these cliffhangers, man. It's like the minute I feel like the episode getting good,
right?
Like,
this shit is over.
Even dating back to the Captain and Winter Soldier. I mean, Captain. Falcon. But it's just even with those, like, it's like, damn, like, it's about to get good now, and then it's not. It's like
then the music.
It's in the movie.
Cue music.
Yeah. That's like, we should get another 30 minutes now. 52 minutes.
These really, like, each episode is really a short film. Like, it's crazy. It's great to see. The visuals are great. Just some of this dialogue, man. But even the dialogue in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I felt like it was better.
It was way net. It was. I don't think it was a wasted word.
There you go. Exactly. And I feel like there were a lot of wasted words, at least in episode 3 of Loki.
Yeah.
So
they took very indirect ways to get to the punch.
Yeah,
Just
man.
go straight to it, man.
But then again, that the TVA reveal, I don't feel like could have happened in the midst of a lot of chaos. Like I feel like it had to
not
be
on that train, because the train was for them.
Yeah,
like the train that was for them. Maybe just even the beginning of them trying to get to the train and figure out how to power up the time pad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was for them too. But after so long, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. And I think that's how the TVA thing happened, which was, like you said, like I told you last episode, I was like, something ain't right about them.
That's show changing.
Yeah.
Like, that changes the
everything
trajectory of where the show is going now. Because that's completely new information. So
exactly.
Yeah, man.
But nah, man, I got nothing else.
I mean,
we just here, man. But nah, we'll start talking about some other stuff.
Facts. So listen, man, we'll be back next week with the episode 4 recap and review. We appreciate y'all for watching.
Yes,
please, again, like, share, subscribe.
Yes,
hit the notification bell because we will be putting out more content.
Yep.
And we out.
Yep. Peace.